What's going on, everybody? It is TripleCrown24 back today. I am doing my recap and review for one of the many, it seems lately, popping up Cincinnati card shows from Saturday, February 12th, 2022. Going to be airing this video on Valentine's Day. Celebrated Valentine's Day myself yesterday, so hard day of work here on this Monday. But if you are celebrating today, happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Overall, this show, we'll call it right down the middle. I wasn't absolutely thrilled with how I did. I also wasn't disappointed with how I did. I would say that I was content. I did not set up at this show. Lately, I haven't really felt like setting up at the shows. I've done much better buying, selling, and especially trading. And being able to walk around, not really being, ball and chained to my table has been a very nice feeling, and I've allowed myself to maybe market my brand a little bit more in terms of being able to introduce myself and talk to people and hold conversations better. For some reason, I just do that better as a buyer than a seller. I don't know what it is. That's maybe a room for improvement in terms of personal growth for myself, but nonetheless, it was all right. We'll put it that way. Let me show you what I got. It is very slab heavy today, and that wasn't necessarily intentional. I did look to get some slabs for my whatnot sale that is going on at the time that you'll be seeing this video today. So that was one of my objectives, to kind of come in. But I've been hearing a lot of reports lately from people going to different shows that they're seeing a lot more raw stuff available for sale. And I've noticed that a little bit. But a lot of it is because people haven't been able to submit things to PSA for about a year now. And they're a little bit, I guess, scared of maybe going through some of the other companies. I did see quite a few SGC slabs, but outside of that, I didn't really see anyone who ventured into maybe a CSG, into a BGS. Saw maybe only a few HGAs. I did see a lot of GMA, I will say that, but there wasn't as much raw stuff as I thought, but there was a decent amount, but not a lot that I was able to pick up. So the first one here, this was a partial trade, partial cash. And if you watched my interview over on Bench Clear last week, I'm going to move the camera up just slightly because it's not conducive to seeing the slabs at this angle. And I'm going to try not to bump my camera. Sorry about that. I did talk with Mike of Baseball Collector for his Golden Age of Cardboard podcast about trading, and that was really the name of the game for me. A lot of times I do have to add cash or have cash added to me to make a deal happen, and that pretty much happened on all the trades I made today. Well, not today, but at the show. But first one up was the stack of 5 slabs. All I had to give up was a Derek Carr autograph and $20 to get this stack, so it wasn't. I was pretty happy with it. You got a Jeter here. Near mint to mint 8, excuse me, on the 2004 Bowman First Edition. I think an 8 is extremely harsh on this card. I was looking it over and I'm like, wow, this is one of the best examples of the 2004 Bowman card I've seen, period, let alone a First Edition. I opened a few of these boxes a few summers back now. Actually, it's been several years now that I really think about it. And a lot of the cards came out with whitening on the corners and edges just because the set is so condition sensitive. So I don't see too many of these. Particularly, you're usually looking for a Yadier Molina or maybe a superstar player such as Jeter in that good a shape. So I was very pleased with how that one looked, and I thought I wanted to go for it there. Again, just some fodder for the sale in this stack for the remainder of the pickups. Kevin Porter Jr. Green Mosaic, just stuff that was at a price point where I said, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and keep bundling this together, see how many I can get. Jaren Jackson Jr., mint 9, having a fantastic season. This guy has been extremely popular. He was one of the names I heard a lot of at the show of people looking for, and also a lot of people were selling this guy here, Darius Garland, 9 base mosaic. Not too much talk about this guy, but still remains very prevalent. LaMelo Ball, silver from 2020 Prism Draft. So those 5 slabs traded away a Derek Carr autograph that wasn't really too attached to. I still have another one that I had purchased in a lot deal. So I was pretty happy with that deal. And the gentleman who I traded with was very polite, very friendly, just really pleasant to interact with too. So that's always a bonus. All right. Believe it or not, I actually only have 3 more deals that I made. This one was a straight up cash purchase. Uh, and this one was actually pretty funny too. I'll take it out of the team bag there. 1961 Topps Stan Musial, and an excellent 6. For me on vintage, I actually talked about this in one of the previous sports card psychology episodes. I am a big centering guy, and right away you'll say, well, Triple Crown, why'd you go ahead and buy this card then? Because it's a bit diamond cut and it's clearly off centered top to bottom. Well, that's kind of the name of the game with 61 tops, is that most of them are going to be off centered. And a 6, you'll have to compromise a little bit. But this one, when I first saw it in the case, was actually in the top left corner of this dealer's case. He had just like a row of vintage at the top there, and then really a lot of modern stuff, and maybe like a row of ultra modern at the bottom. So it was kind of tucked away. But from a distance, it immediately passed the eye peel test for me. And I'm like, okay, you know what? The eye peel is there from this distance. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do on it. And I got this for well below VCP. I was surprised to see sticker price. The funny part of this is that I was actually trying to go get a water bottle from the vending machine because I forgot my water bottle at the office. So I was trying to get it and it would not take cards. The card reader was broken, and there were 2 of them. The card reader was broken on both of them. And the only bills I had in my pocket at that point was a 20 because I used my smaller bills to make a deal previously. So I had to make a deal to get this one, and I made it so that I was able to get 2 single dollar bills back so I can go get my bottle of water. So the dealer did me a solid there on the price and getting me able to go get some water too, which was much appreciated. That's why you pack your snacks and beverages beforehand. There's a little tip there. So I thought that was kind of funny. My lack of preparedness came back to bite me. All right, next one up here. This dealer was extremely friendly as well. This one was a straight up purchase. We were trying to work out a trade for my Allen Iverson autograph that I have, but I didn't really see anything in this case that was really jumping out to me. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later on in the video, but he was looking stuff up on his phone. I didn't really mind too much because I kind of encouraged him to do it, but that happened a lot at this show. And I'll get into it in a minute. But first up here is this Christian Hernandez autograph out of 2021 Bowman's Best. This is the refractor, and the refractors are not numbered. They are designated on the back. But what I see quite often with these refractor autographs is that a lot of times people do not designate that they're refractors, or they don't realize it. They may just assume that it's something like Finest, where all the quote unquote base autos are automatically refractors, but that is not the case with Bowman's Best. They're not numbered, they just happen to be short printed. So when I saw this, he was looking them up, and based on the price that he was telling me, I assumed that he thought he had a normal card there, and it was a refractor. So that's just one of those things that happens from time to time. Give a shout out to my friend Eric here. If he's watching the video, then he'll know that he partially inspired this pickup that I got with it. So that was bundled with this card right here. Let me see if I can get my stand to hold this. Doesn't do too well with magnetic holders. We may need to just hold this one up here. See if I can get it. All right, I'm just going to hold it. Sorry about that. It's a Jordan autograph, Super Futures from 2021, Topps Chrome Black. These cards are absolutely beautiful. I was very skeptical about this product when it was first released back in 2020. I thought it was unnecessary. It's now probably become one of my favorite buy singles products out there. It's not even that bad of a rip. I don't think it's like $120 a box. And all things considered in today's hobby, that's actually a pretty decent value, especially with the checklist. I did a break for my local card shop, group break that is, and we pulled, I think, like a Rod Carew autograph, a Luis Robert autograph, CC Sabathia, and Barry Larkin in the boxes we opened for a group break. So, I mean, really solid players there on the autograph checklist, some guys who you don't necessarily always see too. And then, of course, some of the base cards and the refractors look super sharp. But this is the Super Futures autograph, number 299 of Jordan Alvarez. It's a really cool on-card autograph. So I saw that, and immediately it was one that I knew I really wanted to pick up. It's a little scratched up on the mag, but most of them are. And then, again, just kind of getting some fodder for the sale. Everybody loves themselves some Shaq, right? One of my favorite all-time sets, 92 Ultra, PSA 8. So I always pick up a Shaq 92 Ultra if it is reasonable. And also my man Kenny G, rookie there from Rookies and Stars, purple. Gem Mint 10 on that one. Had a very quiet year with the Giants. I'm not sure if they will keep holding on to him, although he's under contract for several years still. And then the second to last purchase I made, this is the last one I made for myself, was a 3-slab purchase. And in fact, it was actually a trade. Now that I'm thinking about it, I apologize for that. And I gave up a 1972 Topps Willie Mays PSA 6 to get these cards. And I was fairly happy with this deal going down. I thought it was not too shabby. So 1993 Topps Gold Derek Jeter in a near mint to mint 8. It's fairly off-center, but most of the ones I see raw. I have seen quite a few of these raw in recent times. I don't know what it is. They've just kind of come across my my feeds and all the normal places I look at, but see a lot of them that are pretty off-centered. So to get one that is even a shot at a 10 raw is extremely tough. To get this one here, it's nice looking card. I know I'm a big centering guy, but it actually doesn't really bother me too much on this one. So got that one in an 8. This one was just extremely cheap. I thought, you know what, I cannot go wrong getting this. Near mint 781 Donruss. Ricky Henderson looks incredibly young in this photo. I like the bright Oakland jersey there. Probably not the 81 card you think of when you hear Ricky Henderson's name. It's probably this one here. This was kind of the centerpiece of the deal. 81 Topps Ricky Henderson, PSA 9. This is somewhat of a fan favorite card, I would say, among those from the 81 Topps set. Of course, you have the Valenzuela rookie, I would say, is probably one of the more sought-after ones. Also, the Nolan Ryan, and then, of course, the legendary Harold Baines rookie card is in that set, too. So there you go. Shout out to all the Harold fans out there. But this gentleman was extremely nice to deal with. He had a really cool Ty Cobb card there, just a little bit more than I wanted to spend. And I didn't really have a good way of verifying the authenticity. Not that I didn't trust him by any means. It's just one of those things that I would like to do if I'm going to spend that amount of money on one card, especially something that is largely out of my wheelhouse. And then the last pickup I made was actually not even for me, but it was something that just kind of worked out together. So I'm actually going to pull this up really quickly on my screen. I know I should have had this up already, but I could not find. Okay, here we go. So there is a gentleman by the name of @BigWorms on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter as well @it's TripleCrown, ITS TripleCrown. I'm a little bit more active on there than I am YouTube these days, but I was been scrolling through Twitter for a long time, seeing Tim Big Worm's collection, and he is a Kyler Murray super collector. In fact, he really is up there among some of the most prolific super collectors in terms of the depth of his collection. One of the most impressive collections I've seen, and he's accumulated it in a very short time. I mean, Kyler Murray was drafted in 2019, so the cards that he has at the very most are now 3 years old. So the collection he's built is phenomenal. Go check out his pinned tweet, and that will give you a very good snapshot into what he's working with here. So I had a gentleman who approached me who was told to approach me through a fellow dealer who I've become friends with. And he said, I pulled this out of a Donruss box that I won as part of a giveaway. And I'm wondering if you could tell me what it's worth. This is the jersey number parallel from 2021 Donruss. So actually, I saw one of these the other day when I was just bidding on random cards. And it was a Darius Leonard numbered to 53 because that's his jersey number. Well, Kyler Murray being number 1 makes this one, of course, a 1 of 1. So we talked about it, and I said, actually, I know someone who would be very interested in this. So we were able to work out the deal. It kind of occurred after me because the guy left immediately after we made the deal that I would have to pay to ship it. I just told Tim that, don't worry about it. I'll just send it to you. So I need to actually get this out to him after I record this video, get it ready for pickup here. So just wanted to show that then it was really cool that I was able to add a 1 of 1 to a super collector's collection as a now retired super collector. Still weird to say that. It was cool to kind of live vicariously through him to pick that up on his behalf. So there you have it. Let's go ahead to the show floor review, as well as what was hot and what was not. Overall, if you like quarterbacks who wear number 9, you were probably in a pretty good place on Saturday. Of course, the 2 quarterbacks in the Super Bowl this past weekend, Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow, both number 9s. Specifically, the latter, of course, we are in Cincinnati, so everybody had out all of their Bengals stuff. Anybody on the team, if they have a card, it was out. It was out in full force, and the prices were very reflective of a team that was in the Super Bowl. Let's just put it that way. So in terms of variety at this show, it was a little bit lacking between that and then a lot of wax dealers who still had a lot of retail wax, some hobby wax, but not really that much, mostly retail stuff. It was kind of one of those where you had to pick your spot, I think, compared to what a normal show would look like, even though you're going to have a lot of Bengals and Reds stuff regardless if it's a local Cincinnati show. But it was amplified by 10 times probably at this specific show. So overall, a lot of that. And then besides that, just your usual suspects, all the hot names. Not too much vintage at this show, really. A decent amount of value boxes. There's becoming more and more than what I've been used to seeing lately, although they're not as, in terms of quantity, there's a lot more of them there. In terms of quality, not as much. But it's cool to at least see them coming back because they were kind of disappearing for a while. So what was hot? Well, the Bengals were hot. Let's just put it that way. That's what was out there, and that is what people wanted. I've heard so many people asking for Joe Burrow. There was just so much of that there. There was actually a lot of people asking for Justin Herbert as well. I guess he's kind of been cast aside maybe a little bit here, but I don't know if that's really going to change too much, especially now with the result of the Super Bowl. I think the Herbert momentum train is still going pretty strong. So I don't necessarily believe in the whole dip that's going on with him. If it's a dip at all, I think it probably has something more to do with supply and demand rather than all those who may be speculating on him or collecting his cards losing interest. I don't necessarily see that right now. So what was not hot? Probably baseball. I think a lot of people are still very disgruntled about the lockout, as am I. Just was not a whole lot of baseball, which is very weird because a lot of people are usually getting excited this time of the year, and now it's post Super Bowl. Typically, we're looking forward to pitchers and catchers reporting if you're a baseball fan, and we still don't know when exactly that's going to happen. And that is, I think, very alarming, and I hope that Major League Baseball figures it out soon because they keep shooting themselves in the foot, to put it quite bluntly. But that's a discussion for a different time. Let's go to the takeaways overall. Something I liked, something I didn't like, and something that I liked to end it off on. So one thing I liked is that I did see a few kids that were at the show, and there were a lot of dealers there who were like taking the time to look at the cards that the kids brought to trade. When I'm talking about kids, I'm not talking about like someone my age in their early 20s, mid 20s. I'm talking more so about kids who are under 16. Like they had to have a parent with them to go to the show, and really talking with them and explaining kind of things to them too. I thought that was really cool to see, not just, it was just cool overall. I won't get more into it than that, but just, it's always healthy for the hobby when you have new people coming in, especially younger people coming in. Things I didn't like. Oh boy. I really did not like the number of times I had to wait for someone to look up something on their phone. I had a dealer who I probably went back and forth with for 30 to 45 minutes, probably closer to the 45-minute mark, working out a deal for over $1,000 in value of cards. And part of that was an $800 cash portion that would be going from me to him. And one of the things he said to me, and I cannot believe that he said this, I was a little taken aback by it, was, well, if you look at my showcase, you can see I'm not really hurting for the $800. And I mean, that was true, but that's just, I could never imagine saying that to someone. Of course, I did approach him a little aggressively with that statement. And I said, it wasn't the first thing I said, but I did say, I know you could do a lot with $800. I could buy you a few really nice cards that you could do with that. And I'm giving you cash, kind of help towards your table and travel expenses, because they traveled a couple hours to get there. And I had overheard in a conversation that, hey, they weren't having the best of starts to the show. They were falling a little bit behind what they were hoping to get for the day. So the trade offer that I made, my final offer to him, was, I thought, extremely lopsided in his favor, especially if you go back and you look at, maybe what recent values were for the cards. But it was just one of those where he wanted to value his cards at the highest recent eBay sale and value mine at the lowest recent eBay sale. I get it, but it's it's just frustrating, especially when you got to sit there and waste my time looking it up on your. I know that you have a lot of cards, but just price your stuff beforehand. It seemed like he was there to more so show off his cards rather than actually make a sale. And it came down to just a $50 difference between us. He wouldn't come down $50 for me, and at that point, I had like a $3 card and a $10 card in my stack. I just said, you know what, forget it. I don't really want any of them anymore. That's just one of those frustrating things that happens. And it's okay to say no and walk away from a deal, and just, I don't know, looking up stuff on your phone and not having a price beforehand. It rubs me the wrong way. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. Let's end on a positive, though. Something that I did like at the end. People really taking an interest in what I had to say, like really good listeners. And the way that I can tell that someone's a good listener is that when they respond to what I say, their response isn't just what they wanted to say, maybe curtailed to some form of a acknowledgement of what I said. And by that, I'm more so talking about, they ask me a question, I respond, but at the same time in their head, they already have the answer to what I'm going to say, regardless of what my answer actually is. I'm sure you guys have been in that situation before, not even in a card related thing, but a lot of the questions that I was asking, and then also the questions that were being asked of me, I felt like we had a genuine conversation going. And, did they really care about what I had to say? Well, even if they didn't, they did a very good job of making it seem like it. Let's just put it that way. But I did feel that genuine, people wanting to hear what I had to say. And in turn, me trying to understand too what they were looking for as a dealer, having very open dialogues and forms of communication. It's something that I don't always get. And it happens on both sides of the table too, where people feel like they can't be open with me. If my card, I'm like having it in my head double the value of what it probably should be in terms of trying to sell or trade, sometimes they're scared because they don't want to upset me or hurt my feelings. But it was very much so, not even in a rude way, just very straightforward, trying to reach that middle ground of understanding. And that happened with almost every single interaction I had with this show. So that was definitely a really big positive takeaway. Just having that open line of communication is so crucial, I think, in the hobby. It helps us grow, helps us gain better understanding of what other people do in the hobby, and also have a greater appreciation for how they may go about things, or how they may choose to engage, how they may choose to collect. So that is it for me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show review. I'll be back with a new one whenever I get to the next show. I'm not exactly sure when that will be. I'm going to be looking for a show to go to this upcoming weekend. And then, of course, first weekend in March, I will be heading to Dallas for the first time in about a year and a half. It's been quite a bit. But until then, guys, take care. Stay safe. Choked on my own words there. And be kind.